So can you hear me? Okay, just get a bit more volume if we can. Hi everyone, can you hear me at the back there okay? Good, thank you, welcome. Good afternoon, my name's Joel McGuinness, I'm the CEO and Creative Director here at Geelong Arts Centre, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land of which the Geelong Arts Centre stands, the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay our respects to elders past, to elders present, and to emerging leaders in our community as well. Whenever we come together to share on this land, we always acknowledge that stories and culture and language and song has been shared on this land for millennia. If you think about that, that's 1,000 generations, and that's pretty awesome. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here, Minister Demopoulos. I'd like you to come up and say a few words. I'll say a few words afterwards, and then we'll hear from a couple of other people as well. Big welcome to you. Thank you for coming to Geelong. Good to see you.
Thank you, Joel. Thanks so much. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. And I'll do that with the recognition that Joel gave to the arts in that community, in that civilisation over 60,000 years. But I do that also in the recognition that the government that Christine and I are proud to be part of is the first government and the first state in Australia to actually commence treaty negotiations with the First Peoples of this state. And to do treaty properly, you have to do truth and justice first. And that's what we're doing with the Road Commission. So we acknowledge country with that in mind. It's so nice to be here. First time ever at the Geelong Arts Centre. I know it's remiss of me in my almost 50 years of life not to have come here before, but I'm proud to come here as not only as a friend and a colleague of Christine's, but also as the Minister for Creative Industries for Victoria. It's a real thrill to see the development going on here as it moves closer and closer to completion. And thank you for the tour that Dan and the others gave us. This is really a game changer for this region and for our state. This is not just a Geelong facility, although it's predominantly a Geelong facility. It's actually a significant facility. So along the way, this project is bringing incredible benefit to Geelong. It's using local businesses, local skills, talents and craftsmanship. And I'm pleased to announce today that we are adding 2 more local suppliers to the project, the business mix in the project, and that is Godfrey Hirst Carpets. They'll supply the carpet for the Little Mallet Street redevelopment, and Jacaranda Industries will supply the joinery. I mean, why get carpets or joinery from different parts of the world where they're available right here, where there's a local supply chain that contributes to economic growth for this region, local supply for this region, traineeship and apprenticeship opportunities for this region. Our government's a strong believer, the Victorian government's a strong believer in building facilities but creating an economic and life opportunity loop in that developments we do. So local supply chains really contribute to a workforce element, an economic benefit, and really to local knowledge and know-how. And in fact, not that this is going to be built so well that there won't be need for future repairs, but if there is a need for future repairs, why not have those local suppliers and businesses right here on hand? So 270 local people are now working on this project, shaping a new landmark for this region and a legacy for generations to come. I commend and congratulate the Builder Lendlease, the Industry Capability Network, and all the project partners for their commitment to putting Geelong businesses first. Supporting local businesses and construction jobs through this project is just the beginning. What we're building is not just Australia's largest regional arts centre. Now, you should all be proud of that. Australia's largest regional arts centre. This is a big country, and the largest regional arts centre is right here. But having a brand new state-of-the-art facility is fantastic. But it really is not much if you don't have creative people to activate it. That's why Christine and I are also proud today, as part of the Andrews Labor government, to announce $460,000 grant through our Creative Neighbourhoods initiative for the implementation of the creative industries strategy for the G21 region, the strategy called Making Change. And I should have acknowledged at the beginning, some of the partners here, but there are members of the task force that helped put this strategy together here in this room. There's Hannah Clement from Development Victoria, Kirsten Kilpatrick, one of our trust members who looks after this extraordinary facility. And so you as a group, you as a region, have dreamt big in relation to creative industries and the arts through that strategy document that will see arts filled to a beautiful vision over the future. So we want to match your ability to dream big by giving you the resources to implement the first stage of that strategy. And the first stage will include working with further with First Nations people, creating a network, skills development. It will end up with a whole range of other things, including cultural tourism. There's many incredible reasons to come to this region. There's ecotourism reasons, natural wonderlands, there's good food and wine, an extraordinary local member of parliament and community leader in Christine Cousins, also the parliamentary secretary for First Peoples. But there'll be an even more compelling reason to come when this will be the biggest regional arts facility in the country. People will stay here longer, see extraordinary art, but locals will be able to make art and then put it on for the community. You can't. Probably the most compelling thing an art maker, whether that be a performer, whether it be a painter, whether it be someone who produces any kind of art, the most compelling thing they need, I imagine, is not only a space to make it, but they need an audience. And you can't have an audience, particularly in the performance space, in the performance arts, without having a space. This is incredible. 3 theatres here, extraordinary ability to do so many wonderful things. So we are extraordinarily excited to be part of the G21 vision, and I acknowledge Julia here as well, and other people who've brought this vision together. And we will be by your side, as will Christine. Christine's advocacy on this project, I can't understate, there are always big competing priorities for budgets, whether they be state government, federal government or council. Christine, from day one, as a colleague and a friend elected 8 years ago to the Parliament of Victoria, and now as Parliamentary Secretary, has advocated for this redevelopment that you see going on next to us, but also the vision that the G21 partners have put together for an arts region that is unparalleled. And we are very proud to partner with you for this first portion of it, the $460,000, and see incredible things in the future. There'll be people that find their first steps in the arts world and performance arts here that end up in some stage in some international capital, whether it be in the US or Europe or the Arts Centre in Melbourne. And there'll be performances that come from those places to this performance space here because they can, because it's one that will be befitting of world-class performance. We're extraordinarily pleased to be partnering with you in this, and thank you for all the work you've done to bring this to fruition so far. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Minister. Thank you for joining us here today and to our Little Mallet Street redevelopment and to get a feel of the creative hub that is our region. It's a pleasure to have you in Geelong. We come together today to celebrate a range of wonderful things happening at Geelong Arts Centre and the broader G21 creative community. At Geelong Arts Centre, we pride ourselves on being a leader, attractor and connector for the creative industries, for employment and for cultural tourism. In October last year, leaders from key cultural institutions in our region came together to launch the G21's first creative industry strategy, Making Change. And today, we celebrate for this exciting announcement, and we really appreciate the ongoing support of the state government for the creative industries, and particularly seeing the opportunities that can happen by really supporting artists to do what they do best. I'd like to acknowledge this Creative Industries Strategy Task Force, and particularly Jen Cromedy and Julia Baggio and Elaine Carbines before that. We got together a few years ago and said, let's make a strategy for this region. Let's come together as a group. Let's support each other in having a collective voice. And I think that's really, really powerful. So thank you to the task force, Jen Cromedy from Committee for Geelong, Julia Baggio and Kate Coughlin, who's been working on the strategy as well, Jason Smith from Geelong Gallery, Vanessa Schoenecker from Geelong Regional Libraries Corporation, Paul Summers and Bruce Gladwin here representing Tim Stitz for Back to Back Theatre. We have Dr. Tonya Merrick from Creative Geelong, Ilana Russell from Platform Arts, Martin Payton and Tracy Lee Smith from the City of Greater Geelong. And I mention all of those people because they are the leaders of organisations in this region, and for us to come together and speak with one voice is really, really powerful, and I appreciate all of you working so tirelessly in your own roles, but then finding the time to work together on something like this. I also acknowledge Professor Ian Martin, Vice-Chancellor of Deakin University, our fabulous major artistic partner, and the partnership with Deakin goes from strength to strength as we think about the future collectively. Really excited that the teams from Godfrey Hirst and Jacaranda are joining our redevelopment project as well. And we look forward to working along 2 more additional Geelong-based organisations as we build the incredible Performing Arts Centre that you can see coming to life on the other side there. The curtain's gone up, the facade is come up. We've had a really amazing visit through there and it's very, very exciting. Thank you also to the Wadawurrung Traditional Owners Corporation, particularly to Karina Eccles and David Jones, for walking alongside us to develop the beautiful First Nations themes and narratives that run through the building. We were able to share a little bit of that with the Minister. There's lots going on in there with scaffolding and all coming together. But to really create space and the way the co-design that has happened of these First Peoples narratives is extraordinary. And we can't wait to share more with you on that as we get to unveil those incredible artworks very, very soon. And to hear Karina Eccles and others that say that they feel that deep listening is happening in this project is something that really genuinely fills me with joy and makes me feel very, very proud. Finally, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks again to the Victorian, to the state government, to the Andrews government for their continued investment and support in Geelong Arts Centre, and trusting in our board and with Kirsten here and others, the vision of what we feel is so important to see Geelong as it comes as an international city in its own right and supports artists and makers in our region. I'd now like to introduce Committee for Geelong CEO Jennifer Cromedy to say a few words about the partnership that we've done together in making this strategy. Thank you.
Hi, and I can't hold back my excitement if people know me. This has been quite a passion project. It's something that when I took the job at the Committee for Geelong West 4 years ago was a priority. So just, if I can indulge you for a moment and say 4 or 5 years ago, we weren't really talking about the creative industries sector like we are now in Geelong. Since that time, we've had the UNESCO Creative City of Design designation come on board around 2017-18. We've got the Clever and Creative Vision, that is a community vision, a 30-year vision that has been housed by the City of Greater Geelong. And getting a creative industry strategy for this region, I think, tells a really important story about who we are. And I also want to acknowledge the Wadawurrung, because part of the strategy is to deeply engage and tell their story as well. So I won't go through all the organisations. I was going to thank people individually, but I do want to call out Elaine Carbines, who's not here today, but Joel's right. We all sat down. We had long discussions about this years ago, that we really needed this strategy, and we were fortunate enough to be funded by the RDA, Bowen Southwest, but auspiced by Regional Development Victoria. So I just want to acknowledge them and the fact that we were able to, through that collaboration of all those organisations, put money in. We had skin in the game, and government were really generous to be able to fund us during a period where we were going through COVID as well. So I just want to acknowledge that the strategy actually deals with, as you were saying, Joel, skills development. It also talks about investment opportunities, because the creative industries isn't just about what you'd call the arts sector and the benefit that the sector gives to people in their lives. Like COVID, I mean, we all read books and watched movies, but what it actually does is actually talk about the economic benefit as well. So there's some really key things that we do want to implement. So thank you so much, Minister. I don't think we've met face to face. I've seen you on Zooms before. But thank you so much, because I'm hoping you'll understand it's in great hands, and the group that put the strategy together have continued and actually grown as a task force. So really it's from me as the chair of the group that put it together, but moving forward, just thank you so much. And I might just hand over to Christine Cousins, who is not just a fantastic local advocate, but passionate about this sector, as you know, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. And I'll begin by acknowledging the original owners of the land, the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to ancestors past, present and future, and to all Aboriginal people, Torres Strait Islanders who may be here today. And can I thank them for their care of our land and waterways. And as the Minister has already said, you know, this government is committed to treaty, truth, justice, self-determination, the Uluru Statement from the heart, basically. So I'm really proud to be part of that government, but I'm also very proud to be standing with a great minister in Steve Dimopoulos. We came into Parliament at the same time and have formed a great friendship, and you're very welcome to Geelong anytime, Steve. So thank you for coming today and making those really important announcements. I do want to take the opportunity to also acknowledge Jen and her work. Jen has made the announcement she'll be leaving the committee for Geelong. It's a huge loss and it will be enormous shoes to fill. And, you know, you've been so passionate on all the projects we've worked on together. Hopefully we'll continue to work together in whatever you choose to go into moving forward. But I do want to thank and acknowledge you for all your work, and particularly in the creative industries. You talk with such excitement and create such a buzz. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you for everything that you've done. And as was mentioned, we've had the opportunity to have a tour, and this is probably, I don't know how many I've had, but it's so exciting to see what's happening and the changes as we move forward into next year, mid-next year. It's so exciting, and to see the curtain going up in Little Mallet Street, it's absolutely incredible. And everywhere I go, people are really buzzing about the Arts Centre and what it's going to mean for them. But to also, you know, continue to have our school children coming along to this venue. And I mentioned to the Minister earlier, you know, when I was a kid, we didn't have these opportunities. But now my grandchildren do. So, you know, and some of those children sitting in that venue watching these shows could actually become one of the most famous people in the world. We don't know. But we need to give them those opportunities to be able to do that. And this really is an important place for everyone. But I do want to acknowledge the First Peoples' involvement in this and congratulate Joel and the Trust on the work that they've done in that deep engagement, because it is so important. Their stories are so important in terms of the culture and history that we all should enjoy and be able to learn as we go on. The artwork that's going to be part of the fabric of this building is absolutely incredible, and I don't know if it's on display anywhere, Joel, but it's amazing. Not yet, but it will be. Yeah, so I can't wait until this time next year, and I imagine standing here, I don't know if I'll be opening it, but maybe the Minister will. We'll see. But just what that means for us as a community in Geelong, and I feel really privileged and proud to be a part of this government, privileged to represent the people of Geelong, and I will continue to do that. And hopefully we will be back here next year. But I do want to mention the fact that this is part of the arts precinct that we have here. And later on today, I'll be at the Gordon TAFE, and we'll be officially opening the new culinary school, the upgraded Davidson restaurant, the new social cafe, which all link to this precinct here. We're looking at the Little Mallet Street redevelopment in terms of, you know, the upgrading of the street and the streetscape and all those things. This is absolutely incredible. So, you know, I'll be thinking of this day when I'm standing out there, when it's all happening and all the excitement and vibrancy that this is going to create in our community. I do also want to acknowledge the Godfrey Hirst carpet manufacturers who will be providing the carpet for this amazing facility. And I think they've been around since about 1888. What? 1865, thank you. And and play an enormous role in our community in providing jobs and support. So thank you for all the work you do, and looking forward to having you on board on this project. But also, of course, Jacaranda Industries, who'll supply the joinery, including the door frames, mirrors and splashbacks, and a huge thanks to them. And as I said, we're looking forward to seeing what you deliver for this incredible building. And of course, for the implementation of the Creative Arts Strategy, that funding announcement that the Minister's just made, congratulations to all the partners involved in that. It's extraordinary, the work that you've done. You know, to have that strategy in place and moving forward, I'm sure I'll hear more about that into the future. So thank you all for your support for our beautiful city of Geelong. Without the collaboration in this room, we wouldn't necessarily be standing where we are today. And I know there are many other projects on the boil, and I'm surprised Jason hasn't yelled out something to me yet, but I'm sure he will. So thank you all for being here today. It's a great pleasure to be part of this, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. And yes, Jason, we all a big supporter of the new gallery, along many other projects as well, but we think it's a fantastic project. The more that we can work together, the more that we can work collectively, the stronger our voice will be. And I think that's one of the great things about this strategy as well. So finally, before we can have a quick cup of tea, and I know you're probably running a little bit behind time, so apologies if we got a bit excited and I went on a little bit, but I'd like to thank the Victorian Government once again. Your trust in our collective vision to deliver truly extraordinary creative opportunities for our region will amplify local creativity. It will allow talent to shine while also bringing new creative experiences and opportunities to our city and our region. Thank you again. Please enjoy some afternoon tea, and look forward to saying hello to some of you. Thank you, Minister. Thanks for coming down. Thanks, Chris.